Escape since like the 6th grade, dude.
Well, it's coming back in style, just like not buying kits on the CT side. Just going to play the aim duels with these USPs. Well, Finesse will go into that lovely smoke nade and flash combo. And Ricky does, you know, he's had moments of brilliance with his deagle when he does it on pistol rounds. But most of the time, not much gets done with it.
What we're going to see here as we are finally starting things off. Like I said before, CLG is jumping onto the T side to start off this map, and Luminosity will be on the CT side. At the beginning of the map, well, Nekas is going to get a banger, nice headshot there. Takes out Kusta, even though he was going to be expecting that. Unfortunately, he gets hit with quite a few nades himself. He'll be forced back, now down at 60 HP. And that is going to let CLG slowly start this crawl down Banana to start reaching to the side a little bit. Without that trade, that's going to be a little bit rough, but Ethan quickly picks up the kill. However, Neck is finding 2 more on his own regarding PKL, adding another one to the counter here. Ricky given the time to reload, but not given the time to find the kill. Showtime will take him down, and that'll be Luminosity taking control here at the beginning of the map.
I like the deagle on pistol rounds, but it's so tough in situations where you have to pretty much be close quarter combat. You need to spray it because you don't have time to be so precise with it. And that's a prime example. You get caught reloading, you try to spray the deagle, which will never work out for you. And Luminosity, pretty much thanks to Nekas, finding the first and then 2 more towards Ivy, will pick up that pistol round. And we'll see more lovely deagles from CLG with some armor. A couple flashes to perhaps go for some system and some peaks. But you'll see Luminosity, pretty similar setup to actually what they ran on the pistol.
Yeah, I'm still looking for this early scout shot here. Nothing being found just yet as Kusta gets out scot-free. But CLG still have their players split up pretty heavily here, so this is not the full commitment that's going to be working its way in through T-Con just yet. Basically lined up in what's essentially a default here to try and play for outside control. They've even got the player down ladder room already here. But without utility, this is still going to be rather rough to work their way in, so they're probably going to continue to play this passively in hopes that the Deagle can try to chop off one of the heads of the members of LG before they end up going into the site. However, I don't think that's going to be happening due to the more passive style that Luminosity has taken on their setup in this round.
Nekas holding from Old Hell allows Yell with a scout to keep pulling towards T-Con. A fairly safe setup. Unless Nekas is unable to control this Famas as before Ricky hits that. Where was that pushed around? It's coming out now as Ethan finds one of his own. Cutler now pushing up from red. This round can swing as Ricky meanwhile is able to find a second. And it is just Showtime alone at Old Bomb. Spotted. Bomb will go down. And this is just disastrous for Luminosity, to put it bluntly.
Showtime has got the odds stacked against him now as he's basically just holding in the old bomb tunnel. He's going to use the molly to try to get some forward momentum rolling here, but now Cutler, he's got himself a UMP to try and work with here. Going to try and close out on this with, but he is going to, Showtime just comes rolling and immediately knocks him out. And the other 2 are pushed back, but they're in a very, very well-secured position. Showtime picks up a kit, so he does buy himself the extra time. He's going to start to push back out now. They've got him low down at 38 HP. Finesse falls, but Costa ran away. Knows he didn't want to take that contest, so Showtime's going to go back, pop a flashbang off, jump onto the bomb, start defusing this here. Costa, he's got to push forward. And no, he actually spots his feet under the train. Nicely spotted by Costa. He'll shut it down, and that secures the upset round for CLG as they'll tie it up at 1-1.
That was so scary that he found a kit. And you're right, just spots the foot. Good thing he was already relatively tagged down to a decent amount. As we will go back and forth thus far. CLG's forced by with those lovely deagles. We'll be able to find it thanks to Ricky, who's able to get 2 frags with it. And now LG will buy back what they can. It's pretty much just double save territory for them, so they'll invest in towards the pistols, the scout, the SMG, and CLG will get out 3 AKs. And they're just going to be playing more of a upper brown default / showers, holding ladder push when player spotting and holding their back. But it's looking like this is going to be a B hit.
CLG are now going to start again their slow crawl forward into the box halls here. What they haven't noticed just yet is that Showtime is going to be holding off. Ethan sees that, but the spam is in the complete wrong place. So Showtime is able to knock out Ethan. A quick trade, however, from Cutler stops that from getting any more chaotic. And we will see the rotates moving in from Luminosity. CLG does have good site control here, but they are going to have to fight for it, as immediately Luminosity has established their own presence on this inner bomb site.
I'd like to see a save here from Luminosity. When you bought down to $0, you're only going to get 2-round loss. It might make me eat my words, but you're going up against 3 AKs.
Nice.
And while I forgot Cello was on the team clearly, as all of a sudden it's looking so good for Luminosity. 2-man advantage. Now it's a 1v1 as PKL gets the call that Finesse is tagged. He already has a 2K, looking for the third, and it's PKL to find it. Big round for Luminosity as we continue to trade. I said maybe a save, but I didn't take into account Cello.
And you can hear them chatting there as they knew they had that defuse, and they'll be very happy about that win there as they do again upset against CLG, taking back the control on their own force and taking the lead too. At a 2-1 scoreline here, CLG, well, they're going to have to buy in again if they want to keep this aggressive pattern going. One player already forced up with an AK, so I imagine the rest are going to follow suit here as they go for the response. We'll be in chaos at the beginning of this match. Neither team can seem to get control at the start.
And that bomb plant allows CLG to stay competitive. It looks like neither team's willing to back down. Now, trading rounds like this long term, or at least for now, if it continues, it's always going to favor the Ts, even if they don't get bomb plants. Although bomb plants will allow us to keep having this awkward back and forth, neither team wanting to give up power. Now that smoke actually fell down the train, so it won't be bloomed exactly where they want it. As they're giving time for Ethan to work in. Lovely entry on towards Showtime. But it's PKL from back trains trying to find some impact. And 2 is certainly wasn't what he was expecting, but it's what it'll take as the retake is now on.
You can see Yelp picking up that first kill there, bringing CLG down to just stragglers at this point. So their hopes of holding on to this site are slim to none here, especially after we see mollies and whatnot being deployed over there towards the top. Not going to give them a whole lot of room to bargain back out. PKL, so kind of use his teammates as bait a little bit there, but then Color will fail ultimately. Nekaz easily knocks him out, and that is going to be Luminosity taking ultimate control. CLG will be forced onto his save finally, and that's Luminosity well into the lead with a 3-1 scoreline.
You say the word save, but it was a bomb plant, a 2-round loss. But yeah, it is just going to be pistols. CLG not willing to give chase into that one, especially considering Luminosity were able to keep 4 players alive in the previous round. The gig is pretty up. The back and forth dance we've been doing is now done, as Luminosity will come out on top in that regard. As they'll play 2 in towards B, knowing CLG are more than likely just going to go for these pistols. Perhaps a quick play could be coming out from CLG. And it is just FNS to make presence there, but for no longer. As Showtime gets the opening and is able to just safely fall back into sight, scurry away. Actually, Kusta was the first, but FNS was the opening towards B side. And it is just pretty much going through the motions of tapping some headshots, and that was some deadly shots, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Luminosity cleaning up shop very quickly. Almost a team ace that time, too. I think Cello ends up getting multiple kills there for them, or excuse me, Nekaz ends up getting multiple kills there for them. So he ends up with just a little bit more, but overall still a dominant stance being taken by Luminosity at the beginning of that round. And they continue it very towards the very end. Now CLG finally getting another buy up onto the board. But we need to see some better entries coming out from them. Kind of flatlining on these last couple of rounds here. Losing too many players on the way into the site. It causes problems for them. So now we can see they're actually just, it looks like they're going to rush outside this time. They're sending 4 players out there without any delay at all. And Ricky immediately takes down Nekaz. So Luminosity are going to have to panic here a little bit as they try to make up for it, but they're still losing players here. Well, we need to see some entries. That's exactly what we get from CLG as they move out and instantly take down 2 of the members of LG.
And with Showtime coming all the way around behind T-Con, I don't think, yeah, Luminosity are not going for this. Yellow's just running away from the B site. Showtime's just going to post up and try to save with Cello. Because already, you know, never mind. I'm not going to finish that sentence. I'm not going to finish it. Click tab. They're good. Don't worry about it. Their money's in a safe place. Keep 3 alive. They three players have full utility. They can drop. No problem for Luminosity. CLG will get a second. And I think it's important for them that they keep 5 alive. They can't really afford to give any chase. Although indirectly they may run into them. But CLG keep 5 up. Luminosity will keep their 3. And CLG do a little bit of a change up of the pace. And you're right, they found some entries that time. It's a big difference.
Yeah, and so that puts them back onto the board relatively quickly. It will take us into another buy round for Luminosity, though, as they still have the money left over to purchase again. So they're going to be in okay shape. with that full investment here, CLG will still go up against a pretty even by 2. But the CLG will have to go up against the op, which is something that they themselves do not have. Yell's still able to afford that, so they bring that power to the table. And CLG will slow it down this time, but still a very decisive push. Still having, 4 players go for Boxall's control right at the start. So he's going to put extra pressure on Showtime to try and hold things off from his own position. As the only player at the moment defending the inner site.
Smokes, flashes, and mollies, and everything else raining into the B side as Ethan will clear first train. He's actually lost his CT player, Showtime, who's been able to sneak on towards her ladder. Now this had to have been called, it's a possibility, but a 1-for-1 is not bad for CLG in this situation, and now fighting PKL. The site is essentially theirs unless Luminosity want to try to run back into it. But CLG have played this great, where you get to site, you get bombed down, and you push up and make it so hard for the CTs to come back. And now I don't think they'll have a chance to.
Yeah, Yell shuts down Ethan though, so keeps the team in the fight here at least. But problem is they need to move in and actually take back some site control here, which is what they're struggling to do. Kusta, though, gives himself away. That's going to let Yell get onto the bomb. FNS sneaks back in. Yell just holding it, but Ricky is going to be able to take him down before he can complete the defuse, letting CLG win the round and putting them 1 away from a tie. And this should... Actually, excuse me, no, it's not. We're still going to have plenty of cash left over for Luminosities. They stacked up a massive amount just off of a few rounds, 1 in a row. So they're still going to be okay to rebuy here. They haven't been broken just yet. Will be a pause, however, called, I believe, from Luminosity. We can hear their coach going off now.
It was, yeah.
So they're going to take some time to talk about things, fix some of these major issues, see if they can end up better off going into this next round. Hopefully, don't end up being broken too, as that is what is on the line for this next gun round here.
$350 is the most money they have on PKL. While CRG is setting themselves up to just have a couple rich players who can trickle down that wealth. As Kusta will have the op in his hands, Yell is able to get his out, so this should make for an interesting dynamic to this one.
Oh, Yell going out. Does manage to leg FNS. Not a full kill, though. He'll survive the encounter with just under 20. That is going to push CLG outside of T-Con, though, probably to set up smokes, though, as they are lining up for more of that, just that default outer play. So they might be looking to go for that over these next, 20 to 30 seconds or so.
Well, the bomb is heading towards Ivy. We could see, it's rare, you could see a ramp in towards B through CT. Smoke old bomb, smoke right side Ivy, and you can just straight up run the alley all the way back. But more than likely, an A hit is in the works. The 1 player coming down late B, 1 player ladder. Great flash from Nekis, but he won't commit to it. Just a quick shoulder peek. I think he spotted a player top green. He feels like the height advantage is better for him in this situation with the FAMAS, and rightfully so. As at 50 seconds, CLG are about to show face and tippy toe around this corner.
Is moving in. He's going to be able to shut down Color, but whiffs on the spam after that one. The trades will continue to go back and forth. Ethan takes command, however, with his double kill, and is going to continue to push forward. He's got to be careful of players like Showtime, who are still trying to sneak outside of Z here. But they'll be unsuccessful in actually taking down anyone from this T side. CLG still look dominant, but they have not cleared out the bomb train just yet, so the slow-paced style is going to continue all the way up to the bomb train itself, where they finally have to explode. And it's going to be Ethan that mops up shop, picks up 2 more kills, ends up with a massive 4K on the round as he now ties it up.
Right, you're getting loud over there. And we can rally the boys. Certainly have a match, and 4-4 is great for CLG to start this off. They've won 3 in a row now. The pause from Luminosity doesn't net them much. And CLG were able to keep 3 players alive, so they're starting to get some money under their belt. It's almost 10,000 on Ricky. The others are a bit behind, but if you spread the wealth around, looking okay. And Ethan's looking to farm. He actually will drop his AK over to one of his fallen teammates who died in the previous round. He'll get a Mac 10, and he's just straight up going to run it out towards the A site, try to rake in as much cash as possible plus the round. And so far, it's looking pretty good for that situation.
They move out again. Everyone from Luminosity is unfortunately just going to get crushed pretty quickly here. Yell looking relatively low, and Ricky is going to be able to finish him off. So there we go. CLG taking the lead away here now at 5-4. Leaving Luminosity with a full reinvestment, of course, but now a round behind CLG. As I believe we... excuse me, no we aren't. We're not going to see a pause call. I thought we did have one for a second there, but not the case. Relatively full buyout for both teams. However, there's 2 or 3 stragglers there on CLG that do get left over with a pretty good amount of cash. You can see how heavily Luminosity bought into this round, though. Double op setup, including Yellow going for a glass cannon buy. So, oh my God, Kusta as well. Just a blind pre-fire shot through the smoke, and it connects. Hits the headshot on the PKL, so already one of the 2 oppers from Luminosity is dead on the ground. Nothing the PKL could do about that.
That's a little unlucky. Lovely timed shot from Kusta. As Ethan, thing about smokes this round, is going to be able to find Cello. He knew he had to make a play, being a man down, especially an opper right off the beginning of the round. He had to push into somewhere, and he chose ladder, and Ethan was holding for it. Now CLG with a mini smoke wall, Molly behind it actually, which may have gotten extinguished. And Yell caught out in the open as Ethan jumps top train. This kid's starting to heat up. We said it's the X factor for CLG, and you can see why, as they are now starting to really get this engine running. A clean round for them, 6-4, and it's Ethan. From 4K in the previous round to 3K there. They're finding their footing on the T side, which is really scary considering this is, most would say, a CT-sided map. That was insane.
Some great stuff from Kusta indeed to open up the round, and then we see not too much of an issue with the rest of the team trying to follow that through. So now they end up with, I mean, just look at the cash, too. It's just such a massive buildup of only a few rounds and one in a row here. You've already got some guys at $13,000. So Luminosity has really let CLG run away with this lead, and it's getting out of control very, very quickly here. They need to try and rein it in. This, unfortunately, probably won't end up being the round to do it on, however. As for the most part, Luminosity are just working with those pistols and a few armor binds sitting behind it. Already one of their players is dead here.
Yeah, that's the power of CLG keeping players alive throughout these rounds. They weren't too close. They weren't too nail-biting. 3, 4, 5 players staying alive consistently for CLG. As Vanessa gets himself out to Olaf. An awkward gun duel, still able to clean it up on the Yell. Now he has to be careful on 10 HP. Yell wanted to peek him. He wanted to run right at him. But that smoke will deter him. Acting as mace almost as Cello. He's actually going to get down in towards ladder. Gets out towards E-Box to fight it, but it's still looking so just in the control of CLG.
And there we go. No problem at all shutting down the round. They take very quick control of things. And for Luminosity, well, they will end up with enough money to rebuy again as they go in for a full investment, including the double op setup once more. But CLG, like I said, have taken commanding control. This is now 6 rounds in a row won by them. And Luminosity, for all intents and purposes, they flatline here. They haven't accomplished much at all.
A revive may be in the works, as they will go back to the double op. It looked good against Rise on Inferno, but this is a new beast on Train. As PKL got removed from Kusta previously, Yao, I think he's dead here. No, they didn't chase. They're scared of someone from upper from Luminosity peeking as soon as that op tried to fall back from ramp. And they didn't want to peek into it in case it was another op. They couldn't safely molly like that to stop the opper from peeking. So Yell gets lucky as he's able to fall back. But Showtime's here with Yell. So they keep 2-man presence towards B, 1 quick rotator in Z. So for all intents and purposes, very rotation heavy for Luminosity into this one.
Smokes continue to roll down here as CLG now ready to move in for the execute. They'll continue it forward. Showtime seems kind of lost on the back lanes there, and they even find PKL too. It's only Yell that's able to trade back at least one of these kills. And oh, Ethan, he's got a nice forward position. He'll reapply the smoke first off. Kusta even knocking that player up on top of the train down. However, this does mean that when Ethan goes up on top of the train, he's not able to find Nekez, who's hiding still behind that smoke there. So he catches a trade kill, gets brought down to a 2v3. Still no plant from CLG either, wasting a lot of time in trying to set up FNS right now.
No one's gone to pick it up.
It's because they don't know exactly where these CTs are positioned, so they're a little bit scared to move across the map.
Yeah, as you said, giving time for FNS. Is he going to fully check his left? Has to win this duel, and he's not. So the time they've given FNS has been wasted. As Kusta on 21 has to cover Ricky to get the bomb, and look at Yell, he's pushed up in towards Spools. Risky peek for Kusta to take, but he knows he almost has to commit to it. Trying to bait out a shot from Yell, and with 10 seconds, Kusta has to go. He realizes this. And Yell is going to try to run away onto the Deagle. Yell's ducking and dodging.
Oh my God.
They're both missing as he's going to have to hit a no-scope with 2 seconds.
Oh!
No! And it's Yell to hit it instead. Barrel shoved in the face of Kusta. And that was they gave so much time for FNS to work with. He waited out a couple smokes. And as soon as he died, that round was pretty much over, as Yell was given so much time to push up under ladder, and it caught him completely off guard.
Disappointing that we couldn't see Kusta clutch that one back out, especially considering that he had the great position to do it, along with that great Deagle spam opportunity that was presented to him, but just missed it. So he's going to hand the round over to Luminosity on a silver platter. And just like that, they're back in the game. However, they do need to get through the massive economy that CLG built up over the 6 rounds they did win. FNS is going to waste no time, though, moving out very quickly to take control outside. However, Yells drops down. Unfortunately, though, Neck isn't trying to take down. FNS is going to spam through his teammate and take him down. Cello finding another kill into Ethan here as well. Cutler will drop down. He should be able to see
I'd like to see
players here.
Boost here.
Cello going to spam into this one, and yeah, Showtime just waits until Cello takes the initiation, and then Showtime does jump down to close it out. Luminosity seem to have found a new light for them to work off of here, as now they're all of a sudden just shutting down these rounds.
Yeah, now it's a pause coming in from CLG. Now, the next thing is they do have cash. They should be able to buy for the rest of this half. It'll be a full one here and then full in the next, because lost bonus will kick in with. So when they're done buying here, they'll sit around 2,500, 3K. They'll get the 3-round loss, so they're good for the rest of this half. It just comes down to maybe they feel like they should get some more rounds on the T side here. It was going so well. They were able to string so many rounds together. Let's take a look how many they actually got. 6 rounds in a row after being the villains that were able to win the force buy after the pistol round loss. So that's a big string on the T side. And it's taken a while for Luminosity to really come up with an answer. You smell that burnt toast as well?
I smell it too,
I was
yeah.
going to say, I am not having a stroke then. We're okay. I'm just checking here, Blue.
Someone just likes really crispy bagels over
It's been smelling like that for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. That or someone just left a burnt piece of toast near us. That would be the other explanation behind
That wouldn't be very nice of them, would it?
No.
This is a big round again. Luminosity going to the expensive double ops on round 14. They lose this. I don't think the ops will come out in the final round of the half, but we'll see what CLG's pause was able to scrounge up for them.
CLG is looking like they're going to go for just a fake towards the inside here. They do have the bomb with them in those box halls in the event that things go badly on the outer execute. But actually, you know what? I do think it is going to execute towards inner. Excuse me, because I just noticed the players. No, actually, I'm wrong about that. So it was just a one player faking down ramp, and now they're going to execute outside. But Luminosity's still holding this pretty easily here. CLG just can't seem to find their entries. They went about this in a kind of a weird way. So now they're in some odd positions as a result of that. Finesse able to leap forward, getting himself up to the bomb frame, so should be able to secure the plant at least, but they just keep giving away kills right now. Yell takes out Ricky. FNS will finally trade, but Showtime takes him down, and it's not long before Kusta's dead too, giving the round over to LG, and now that ties us up at 7-7 going into the 15th round. Well,
that pause didn't necessarily work out there for CLG. It's not exactly what they're going for. The one-man fake gets him utility thrown from his teammates, immediately go down ladder. You try to smoke off Z as soon as those players rotate off to go through there to get to B. And Luminosity were just not phased whatsoever. And as I said, CLG will be good on cash, so they will get everything they need, plus the op. And I think it's on Ricky based on a spawn thing. Yeah, so he's going to peek towards T-Con. He won't waste a spawn whatsoever. Actually, he's going towards upper brown. You know what, I lied. Not a waste in his eyes, as he will beat the upper if he wanted to peek upper. But I stand corrected, Blue, which is, you know what? I'm cool with Chew.
So now they'll go in for the peek. Showtime should be able to spot some of these players located in the back halls, so he will, he'll promptly back away from the ramp. Kind of call this out to his teammates. Say, yep, there's definitely some pressure back here, guys. Get ready to rotate if I need you to. And CLG still propping most of their players up back here. They will more than likely be getting ready to execute in just a couple of seconds here. As soon as they run down the timer a bit before we're getting things set up.
Well, looks like Ricky is just going to be posted, hoping someone will peek into him, into his crosshair, into the scope. But for now, they will sit tight as it's Showtime back first train. And PKLZ with an op. So that smoke's going to be a bit too deep. Ricky has to be careful of finding this initial duel, but it's
Nice
Ethan.
entries from
Who
Ethan.
else can find these frags? As CLG will get into the site, and now here comes Luminosity.
They push forward, and that clears out the entire sidewalk lane, too. So now the only choices that Luminosity have for a retake is going up through the mid-trains. And we can see that's what they're attempting to open up as an opportunity for themselves now. But Yell can't see anything on the right lane. The left lane, I imagine, is going to be very similar. The second Yell peeks out, Ethan's there to shut them down. Finding that kill leaves only Neck is alive, and he's in a 1v4. It's going to be impossible for him. CLG does manage to close out those last few rounds, giving them the advantage at the end of the half at an 8-7 scoreline. Obviously not a massive lead, but it does indeed give them the edge coming out of the first half here. And especially on T side, too. They're probably going to be very happy with the way this half concluded.
That's what I'm saying. That's probably the best T side you can hope for. Of course, you can say, well, you can get the 14-1s or whatever. But no, there's like, in a match that's close against these two teams, 8-7 on the T side, especially considering CLG love the CT side as well. Having a great T side is just icing on the cake for them. It'll make this just such a simpler match for them. You'll see the setups they go for. Once the op comes out from Kusta, they can even go for doubles if they wish. With Ricky and Kusta, I've seen Cutler pick it up. This team really does like train and prefer the CT side, so they've done a great job, and it's really on Luminosity to show us something here on the T side. As they're going to have a long way to go, and it always starts with the pistol. So perhaps if they can pick this up, we'll have a game, of course.
Luminosity will slowly push their players into the box halls to start off this second half here. They look for an opportunity to execute towards inner, and Nekes at the same time will be trying to take some attention away from this as he's pushed up towards Olaf inside of the site. He's going to be waiting, however, as PKL and Showtime work together to get that first initial kill. They haven't seen the player over towards upper just yet, so they still have snuck one player in here. That's going to be Kusta, waiting for his chance to strike. He picks up the kill there. They counter on Nekes on the outside, but Kusta's holding his own right now, picking up multiple kills inside of here. Catches the player over at Tanker and hits him for about 20 as well. Now Yells is going to be pushed into a corner. He doesn't have a whole lot of room to wiggle here. He ends up going down to FNS, leaving only PKL alive at upper.
And he will just already get deleted. I assuming he'd wait for the tap, but as soon as he heard the smoke bounce on the ground, he tried to beat the player who was going to get into that smoke. And that is CLG's pissed around. As Luminosity picked up their own, respectively, on their CT side, CLG will find their CT side. Now, if you remember all the way back to the start of this game, CLG actually forced up with Deagles, and Ricky hit some crazy shots with the help of Ethan to force buy their way back into the game. We'll see if Luminosity is going to do the same, but with getting the plant on pistol round, they have a little bit more time to just go ahead and, buy some P250 straight off the board, $300 a piece, plus one extra flash. They will be buying next round. So CLG, if they can rack up some cash this UMP, hang on to as many rifles as they can. They really don't want to lose any here. It's ideal that they don't lose any, especially against just P250s when LG are buying next round.
Pretty slow for them. However, Ricky gets a little bit impatient. He ends up pushing out through the T-Con, finding himself an early first kill. Yell actually getting scared by his teammate there a little bit too, but Nekes, again, shut down by Kusta. Ricky continuing to hold on the outskirts of T-Con here as he finds one more pickup against Cello, leaving only now one alive, with Ethan finding the other last man standing on the ramp there, and Ricky just continues to close out on kills here, finding a third and final kill on the round by dispatching. I believe that was PKL he takes out. So CLG lead 10-7. And after this after that round there, we should be getting into the full investment here from Luminosity finally.
AKs galore. So Luminosity will get out. Flashes for majority, couple smokes. Very bare bones. It's hard to work a default with this. So I imagine we'll see them just hold, try not to use any utility. But it looks like CLG with the weapons they have perhaps want to push in towards T-Con, try to get ladder control. All of those are a choice, as Ricky will peek with the molly. He could just stay here with his UMP. As you've noticed, Luminosity have only used one flash, knowing they can't afford to use a lot. So they may just group in a moment's notice and go into an execution with the two smokes they have. But CLG have a perfect counter with this due to how aggressive they're being towards outer yard.
Still remains very, very quiet. However, his Luminosity, again, about just under half the time in the round now being gone. And yet to make a single move across this map to gain any control. We're just going to start to see that now, so probably a very straightforward execute from them over here towards the outer site. For smokes and when they're being deployed, though, yeah, it's a bit delayed to the ladder room player. Showtime, though, is going to make some serious impact here as he takes down both Cutler and Kusta. And meanwhile, they only lost Yell on the way up to the train. The problem is, though, is that Showtime gets hit by this Molotov. He can no longer go for the quick plant. It's going to buy a little bit extra time for CLG, but Nekaz and PKL handle 2 additional trades, leaving only Ricky alive to try and clutch in a near impossible situation. Nekaz even sitting here just waiting for the drop back down. They dink him, but it's not enough for the kill. So Luminosity will win the initial gun round here, and they bring themselves up to 8-10, just 2 away from being able to tie it back up. Still a close game.
Yeah, CLG are just going to half buy here, but I really like what Luminosity did there. They realized we don't have a lot of utility. We can't really afford to play too aggressive in our default. Let's just go take the map control that's given to us. We'll hold Ivy. We won't peek. We'll get a couple players top ladder, hold upper brown, but again, not peeking, passively holding T-Con, and then they used the 2 smokes to their best advantage that they could. They smoked towards deep green. They got another smoke towards Z. They just flashed over and used exactly what they needed to in towards that execution. And now CLG will just be on one of these transition rounds. Them themselves will be onto the P250s. As Luminosity are starting to settle in, and I like where their head's at when it comes to executions like that.
Showtime, he's going to be able to pick up the kill on FNS early on here. And the rest of CLG sits spread out very aggressively, though, positioned across the map, especially over here towards T-Con, where they have multiple players really right up in the face of this angle here. If in the event Luminosity tries to push out, Luminosity look into different options, though, because of that. They're going to spread their players out. You know, they got quite a few guys hanging out over here towards like Whitehalls and whatnot. So they're going to slow things down a little bit, look for options elsewhere on the map, and this will let CLG get more comfortable. And we can see this Ricky pushing all the way inside of the T-Con. He'll hold this aggressive position. And so Showtime's going to have a little bit of work to do if he swings out here. I'm sure they're going to check that corner, and there we go. Down's going to go Ricky. Kusta follows it up with his own death, and Ethan, while he will catch a trade, that's going to be the only thing that he catches here. As he's dead after that, Showtime will even mop it up afterwards. He ends up with a nice, clean 4K, leading the charge for Luminosity there on that round.
Well, here come the guns from CLG. They could go into the double op, but instead it is just going to be Ricky taking it into his own hands. He does have a better spawn than Kusta, although Kusta could have afforded it. It is going to go into Ricky's grasp. We'll see where he's going to go. Again, I mentioned he has the spawn for Z. That's looking like that's the case, so he will post up early, as Luminosity will continue to play his default. I mentioned before this map started, I love Luminosity's defaults. I'm a big fan of SKs, and Luminosity have something very similar. A lot of teams go for these kind of safe defaults, but I really like Luminosity's. They know when to aggress. They have a player holding passive B, 2 players top ladder. They don't overextend, and their teamwork is just sometimes it's extraordinary when it's on point.
And so now here, Cello. He's going to end up going back up through ladder after they took that control. This is only really to deploy utility, though. CLG need to actually rotate that second player on B towards the outer bomb site right now, and they haven't done that, which means they're going to be very weak on the defense for this A site. However, they're doing some decent damage on the way in. You can see both Showtime and Nekaz getting hit pretty heavily here. PKL's going to wrap around. Kusta does get the first kill, but PKL will trade it out, and now they wrap around. Kusta's got nowhere to run. He's stuck in that corner, and PKL picks up a second one now. That clears out the site for the most part. They still have some of these players hiding out in the extremities, but they should be clear to plant now at least, and then try to hold this 4v3 at the post plant.
This is an instant save call from CLG. Even if Cutler finds a frag, I don't see them committing. I just don't see it becoming a reality here. And yeah, Ethan may try to upgrade his Hamas here for an AK. Perhaps waiting for the bomb to explode is his best bet. So this is going to be tied up at 10s now. Luminosity will hit the teens. Or not the teens, they'll hit the 10s. Don't want to rush it, of course. As Ethan's 23-12 still. Put some great Counter-Strike from CLG. Meanwhile, the kill spread on Luminosity is a bit more tighter. Majority of their players are playing well together. No one really standing out, just like on the CLG side. Or perhaps that's where CLG is starting to falter here on our CT side, is they're almost a one-frag pony. where they may need Kusta to start stepping up with that op. Cutler's been very quiet this tournament thus far in their opening matches. So they need more than just Ethan, which seems to be the story for for CLG throughout a lot of their lands and online games.
Well, now, as we do jump into the 21st round, both teams in a dead heat, tied up now. The potential to break CLG is very much in front of us here for Luminosity. Can close out on this round. But with how things have been going kind of back and forth for a while, there's a pretty good possibility that CLG may upset on this one, especially with them holding more aggressive stances. Ethan, though, is going to have to spot this presence early on. As our players pushing into the box halls. Oh, man, the timing on that one. So unfortunate for Ethan. Yell moves in, instantly takes him down, and that's going to be an immediate signal for Luminosity to execute. Since CLG have usually been playing only 1 or 2 in that B site, and CLG know that they've been beaten there because of Ethan going down. They're not even going to attempt to retake this. They're all falling outside over towards T-spawn, and they're just going to call for a save here.
Yeah, they invested pretty much everything they had, CLG there. They'll get the 4-round loss, but that's such a minor victory here. I mean, you only get rewarded when you lose rounds in a row, so you can't even call it a victory. And with that finesse going down, that's utility gone, that's armor they have to rebuy. Luminosity are starting to get sharpened on the anvil. Starting to look deadly. As they get the clean openers, there's no real refrags from CLG. And I'd like to see CLG get back to that aggressive outer yard play they went for. Perhaps try to make Luminosity use more utility towards ladder. Because it's been multiple rounds now where Luminosity, as Mikael finds them through the smoke, that's the M4 gone, or at least one of the rifles. And Luminosity force out a pause from CLG, whose cache is very spread. I mean, Kusa can drop Ethan, Cutler can drop a rifle, and they can buy up another one, but there's a FAMAS gone. Yeah, it's a rifle.
So in case anyone's wondering why Luminosity got so happy about that final kill there, because it was only like, you know, just killing a guy while exiting. It was actually pretty significant because now it puts CLG into a bit more of a difficult scenario here in terms of buying. They can't get a perfect rebuy for everyone anymore. They are going to have like one player on a pistol or something like that. So it does put them into a pretty bad situation if they decide to force, which it does look like they ended up doing. And you'll see that in a second here. So if Cutler can buy the one rifle, that's pretty much going to be it, though, if they decide to fully buy down, which they actually don't even decide to do. They decide to pretty much just half buy and save here for the most part. So they're only going to have that one M4 and UMP sitting on Cutler and Kusta. Besides that, it's just going to be primarily pistols on this round because of that extra player dying. They could not justify the full rebuy, and immediately they go back to impacting as they're just basically going to rush outside this round.
Yeah, and it's pretty much a free site except the guy back green, and there's not much that Finesse can do. With no armor, no utility. I mean, he has one flash and a CZ. We know how deadly the CZ is, but I guess the head armor doesn't really matter in this situation as well, but it just goes to show how little they put into it. As Ethan will find Nekas, PK to find Finesse, and this round's starting to evolve, and it just CLG getting an AK out of it. Now, CLG may even just argue committing to this. They're going to get that max loss, try to deal damage. Their economy's already so bloated with $10,000 on Yell, and only going up on everyone else. Try to deal damage. Try to do what you can. You know you're going to go buy next round. Take some risk with this AK.
The re-smoke over here inside of the Ivy tunnel, though, has pretty much killed their retake attempts. They're going to have to back out through the Ivy tunnel itself. Getting out of this fight, trying to save. Ethan will pick up one more kill on PKL, but Luminosity are swimming with so much cash at this point that probably doesn't matter to them too much anyway here. They're sitting perfectly fine with the amount of money they have. So they'll be okay to throw away 1 or 2 lives in hopes of trying to drop CLG here and make it harder for them to rebuy into these next few rounds, which they'll still do anyway after the save coming off of the 22nd round, which means they're going to be okay to buy here. But even so, for a lot of players, this does mean buying out pretty much in its entirety, leaving them with worst $250 on FNS. But some of the other players end up with a pretty decent amount left over, so they might still be looking at some kind of half investment after this, even if they do end up losing it again. Once more, we've got a quick aggression coming out from Luminosity. They don't even expect it. Wow, great transfer from Showtime. Takes down Ricky and then flicks upwards to find FNS. He's seen Kusta now, too. He didn't realize he was there at first. In fact, I'm not even sure if he still realizes that he's here. He's going to be able to chase him to the back halls here. He kind of lost him in the smoke, and oh no, that'll be his demise. Kusta takes him out, over peaks a second later, though, and now ends up low at 15 HP. As it's just him and Ethan left standing. Luminosity, besides that, the shock value alone wins them the round, however.
I mean, that is just some brute force stuff from Luminosity running out towards the site. You mentioned it. The way Showtime was able to transfer spray from the player on the low ground to high ground was so impressive. As Luminosity will go 13, CLG. I mean, they have, one saving grace is they have Ethan on $5,700. Ricky is at 39. They will be able to buy with max loss. Not going to be so competitive on the FNS side of things. And they are not going to save anything. Ops are gone. Luminosity are so happy right now. And you can't blame them. Listen to them get into it. They have done, not only celebrating with the round win, but dropping these guns and this spray transfer was unreal. But it's, although CLG, you're like, well, they had money. What's the big deal? It hurts them in the long run, right? CLG win this without having those guns to have extra cash in the bank because Ricky had 9,000. And now he has to drop. It's just such a long game thing. And I wonder what the change is going to be. Kusta needs to get aggressive in my eyes. I haven't seen anything from him that's been shocking, anything crazy on this map. Mirage, he had amazing moments. Very quiet thus far when it comes to finding some kind of success rate on their CT side. Cutler, again, FNS, two guys that typically put up some decent numbers when it comes to online stuff. I understand why FNS might be a bit quiet, but I think Cutler really has to come to life now when it all matters. Keep in mind, the winner of this gets a ride right in towards the semis tomorrow. They don't have to do BO3s. Yep. So it's a big difference.
They get a nice rest of the day here to just go chill and hang out, so they'll have that secured nice and easily here. Meanwhile, for CLG, they have to stick around, wait for the other best of three to finish, and then grind it out. Still potentially going up against the rematch versus the Misfits if they end up coming out on top of that best of three versus Rise. Otherwise, of course, they'll fight Rise for the final slot that'll be available in the in the playoff bracket come tomorrow.
Well, thus far, I don't know. I'd like to see CLG do something crazy. Almost take a chance. You've been losing their typical aim duels. The executions have been in Luminosity's way. The trades, you need some kind of showstopper. Perhaps a push, a play, a flash for finesse. Something to go their way. That's PKL. We'll just stay behind the molly for now. Resmoke left side. It's looking more and more like a pinch on the A site. Blue, and there they go.
Out they go as well here with FNS. Kusta actually getting the first few kills. Nekaz trying to trade this back. It's a bit of a struggle, but he does get the second kill, equalizing it into a 3v3. The problem is Cello and some of the others are struggling to make any progress on the other portions of the site here. They're pretty much stuck inside of Ladder Room and T-Con. Oh, okay, there's Cello with the smoke fading away. Quickly knocks out one. Cutler is there for a trade, however, in the old bomb tunnel. And now Cutler will hold on for one more pickup. He takes down Yell, leaving this all on Nekaz to try and clutch 1v2. And he'll be found outside by Ethan, who takes it down. And finally, we have another round on the board from CLG. After so much domination from Luminosity, CLG strike back, and they'll try to keep this close.
Losing 3 members means the guys that stayed alive need to drop 2 weapons. If the CLG get reset in this round, this is the round to determine who wins this match. If CLG get reset here, granted they did win with all USPs, didn't they? It's just in the previous map. But that aside, this is a new BO1. If CLG loses this round, it's a reset back down to 1,400. They'll be broke, they'll have nothing, and it is expensive as Luminosity are not letting up.
See here, Nekaz is trying to push himself forward into a position where he can frag out, but this very aggressive play style just seems like it's not working anymore. CLG has finally been able to iron this down and stop it, as they seem unstoppable in this round here. We can see none of their players have gone down yet. Meanwhile, Luminosity have lost 3 out of 5 of their own. PKL trying to trade, but no, denied again. This time by Kusta from up in heaven. Yell is left as the last man standing. He's even going to have to deal with a flank here coming in from FNS. He can't even stop that. FNS takes him down. Perfect round from CLG.
Right when they needed to be flawless, they pull it off. And now they put Luminosity in an awkward spot. Granted, 12 grand on Cello, he'll drop Showtime, he'll drop Nekaz, and they will be safe in that regard. But it is now coming down to the wire, and Luminosity realize they're not as safe as perhaps they once were with these quick plays. Now getting locked down from CLG, who have had utility properly used. They've been flashing for each other, great counter flashes, and starting to catch Luminosity off guard. And as the pause breaks, you'll see both teams will get everything on the board. It'll be another action-packed round, but I imagine Luminosity will go back towards that default, back towards playing the pick game, getting that man advantage, and going off of that But that requires Yell to be very careful of how he decides to go about this.
Luminosity will keep their players very, very disjointed here at the opening of the round. Again, playing into essentially just a T default. CLG doing something very similar, but they do end up committing a second player towards the inner sight, instead of just having the one anchor play towards it here. And Cello knows he sees Kusta on the upper area, but still decides to directly peek into him anyway. You can even see a little bit of pre-fire coming out from Cello, so it's not the best decision to try and directly peek into that. It essentially just gives his life away. And now that's going to mean that Luminosity can quickly swing back in. Oh, wow, Nek's beautiful reaction there to take down Ethan. Instantly headshots him, and he was dead to rights there, it seemed anyway. So Nek is just barely holding on, gets that kill. He's trying to distract so that they can execute towards the outer sight, but it's not working so well. FNS still has that aggressive push inside a ladder. He was already able to take one player down here, and the players at T-Con are making no momentum at all. They're basically just stuck near the initial trains here. So without anything significant happening in that site, it has pretty much killed Luminosity's chances for a win here, especially with these last two players being split up so much.
The round leans on Nekis, but look how passive CLG are being, realizing this may happen. Nekis spots one when he jumps around, but won't expect two to be there as it's Yell. 1v4. Not going to happen if he does. You certainly will hear a holler as he almost hits that shot.
Now he's going to get pushed. They know he's missed the shot. Oh no, but FNS
they almost lined up for him there for a second at the back train.
He definitely had a chance to win that. I think the missed shot onto the player at E-Box, I believe that was FNS, pretty much seals the deal.
He did a great job,
CLG.
by the way. Finesse. In ladder, not only did he stay alive, but he got some great timing. He stopped the C-Con players from getting out, so the B fake was completely spoiled. I think Finesse really won CLG that round.
Well, with him doing that, that has tied us back up now at 13-all. Neither team having a good enough advantage to play off of here. And more importantly, Luminosity's economy being broken, which means CLG now have that opportunity once more to take the lead away. As this game has gone back and forth and now back again into the hands of CLG, assuming, of course, that they don't get upset on this round.
See if NA can close out a match. Seems to be a rough spot for us. With CLG on the brink of 14. And then the horizon is 15 as Yell.
Unfortunate.
Nade and Amali add up together. 100 HP gone. Ricky catches Nekis in this round. It's going as Luminosity expected. They didn't have any high hopes into it, and rightfully so. As I said, CLG will get 14, Luminosity.
Gale spams in and takes down one player, but that's been it so far. Just left to Showtime here now in a 1v4. Pretty much impossible. He's already low at 17 HP too. Tries to line up the shot on Cutler, but can't make it happen. Cutler takes him down, so that's CLG up and ahead now, 14-13. Two more, and they'll secure this map. But for Luminosity, after that singular save, they're right back into the bye themselves. Neither team hasn't finished fighting just yet.
No. The war has nearly come to an end, so these battles are few and far in between, and they have greater importance to who will win it. And CLG will still keep rocking this double op. Luminosity will not have that, which may tempt them to change the pace a bit, but no. At the beginning of the round, they will do their typical default. That player in T-Con, lucky to be alive. As Kusta, perfect flash from Luminosity. They just simply can't take advantage of it to its fullest. As Kusta was able to get behind the wall. At least Luminosity have that info now that Kusta's there. Or at least an Opera has been hanging out there. And they'll go back to try to get their ladder room control. A lot of success in doing this lately. But CLG are getting aggressive and they'll counter molly it.
So they will get downstairs and get that control, but you can see not only will they counter molly it for CLG, they're also going to put players right outside of it, potentially inside of it too. And yes, Ethan takes down both the players pushing in. He's able to knock them out. If an FNS lining up more of them too as they try to push outside of T-Con. Finds one, does good damage to his second. Okay, should be able to spam right in there, and he lines up the shot to take down Showtime. Now it's down to Yell. He's got a minute left, but he's in a 1v5.
So much for Yell to do. I mean, this would be an insane 1v5, and it's not even going to happen. I don't even have time to talk it up. Shut down from Kusta. CLG 1 round away from moving to the semis tomorrow, and they'll avoid BO3s, which famously haunt this roster and the org in general. So this would be big for them to just get that clean slate, clean ride into the semis, as his double op has just been deadly. It's been Kusta now, finally finding some rhythm, but you still have to go Ethan, who's played nuts. Kusta's been there with him, but Ethan dropping 30 frags. He's certainly up there. As Luminosity are going to put more pressure towards Ivy Ricky, a man who we haven't talked much about or seen so much action from him, is ready to just smack down Luminosity at a moment's notice.
Flashes trying to push Ricky off at this point over here. Luminosity are going to attempt something different this time, as Ricky is going to be probably the most important player in this round right here, with a 3-man stack going over here towards Ivy. That's going to be a lot of presence that CLG will need to hold inside of this, or excuse me, no, a 4-man stack over towards Ivy. I actually missed the 4th player. So they have pretty much everyone here except for Showtime, who is going to try to push down a separate angle.
Ethan will stay there. That's a CLG molly, which allows Ricky to repeat this. Can't hit the shot. Now they're going to push him.
Oh, no.
Gets caught with the smoke. His hand.
Wow.
How does he get away with that? And he's going to stay aggressive. Nearly gets a second, but it's Nekis to try to reel it back, as there's so much on the line. And it would be a big catch, Luminosity, if they can stay into this game. But it's a 3v3. And CLG have such a good read.
CLG need to be careful here, though. They could overextend and give away too many players here. Oh, Ethan, he's going to be able to spot Showtime. Just barely catches his head before he can fall back into a safer angle up on top of ladder there. Now Luminosity, they're going to try to crawl past. Oh, they spot the foot of Cutler. They're going to spam into it, though, but it doesn't completely take him down. Now they rush forward. Kusta's got to be careful with that kind of a peek there. Moves out, shuts down Cello. 1 remains. It's PKL trying to clutch.
Oh.
He's picked up 2 kills, though, and now has brought it down to a 1v1, eliminating both of the guys over by ladder
He
room.
didn't get bomb.
10 seconds left to planet here, too. The good news is, though, is Akusta's backed away, completely out of this fight, completely back towards Z, but he'll now move forward with the plant going in. PKL needs to shut it down now, and he does it! Instantly headshots Kusta. The big 1v3 clutch from PKL to amount to a 4K in the round, and it takes us all the way to number 30 to decide it all.
You have to think that's some overcommitment from those CLG members to peek PKL towards New Hell, and he is just allowed to tap them, as Kusta just oversteps just by a little bit, and PKL jumps up, given time to find the shot. And it is a well-placed pause, as Ethan realizes, yeah, we should take a breather. We should probably talk things through. Both teams, of course, will have the full buys. As actually, Luminosity's buy might not be the strongest here.
They should be pretty okay. It's not going to be amazing, but it should be enough to win a round.
It's a CZ.
Yeah.
It's a UMP. Not as comfortable as CLG's, of course.
No, CLG obviously has the full buy to work off of here. I'm actually surprised considering how many rounds straight that was for CLG, or excuse me, for CLG that they didn't manage to get, or excuse me, for Luminosity there. How dominantly they took that round, but they weren't able to get at least a little bit of a stronger buy. So they're going to end up pretty lackluster purchase here. That'll make it stronger for CLG to at least try and close it on this round. Ricky just wants to get rid of the molly so we can keep vision on the back calls. And that's actually a pretty good move. It's still going to be very risky, however. But this molly, let's see, is it going to send Luminosity the other way? They're thinking about it. They have 4 players back here, though. So they have to commit to this in some way, shape, or form. The flashbang is going to make Ricky think twice about maybe backing up there. We can see the molly going over to the back of the brown halls here as well. And now Luminosity sits poised to strike. CLG has already noticed something's amiss with no actual aggressive presence being thrown to the outer side at all. They've already rotated Cutler over. Finesse is also on the way through Z.
It's a double fake.
Oh, Ricky legs neck is here too. It's going to be able to find them trying to creep down. They don't know exactly how strong the presence is towards either side just yet, and that's the only thing holding those A players back. Now they're going to quickly go back down. They don't have a lot of utility in order to execute this with, and Shell is going to be spotted. He dies first. Cutler is the one to take him down. Showtime trades that, but Rickey's still here. The bomb quickly gets planted. They want to rush this plant situation. Rickey spots him on the other side. A fast headshot too. Clotheslines PKL down to the ground. He sees the shadow of Showtime, and another nice shot. It won't be a headshot, but a body shot is enough in this case to knock him out of the round. That puts all the pressure on the Yell to clutch 1v3, and he won't even get close. Finesse moves him from the back flank, shuts him down, and it's going to be CLG that take control, 16-14. They'll take this best of 1, moving on in into the winners bracket semifinals of the playoff bracket tomorrow. And for LG, well, they're going to have to go down to the lower bracket to face off against either Rise or the Misfits, pending the result, of course, of that other best of three.
That's a big win for CLG. You know they'd be disappointed if they dropped in towards that lower bracket and had to play BO3s. Certainly was not on their radar. Luminosity, you really have to give them credit where credit's due. I think what won CLG this game is picking up their CT side pistol helps and their big T side. Getting as many rounds as they did on the T side, as close as this game was, if they don't get us like 1-2 rounds less on their T side, this game is over. Luminosity make the comeback. Of course, it's kind of speculation, but really their T side was very impressive from CLG, and they held on in the end when it counts. And I mean, Ethan, this man is just nuts. And
yeah.
Kusta was up there with him. Ricky had some big plays, but Ethan was on the entries on T side, which is dominating.
He ended up with 31 frags at the end of that regulation there. 31 and 18 was his final scoreline. I didn't get to see everyone because some of them already disconnected from the server, but it was 22 and 21 kills from Kusta and Ricky as well. So those guys were also showing up where they needed to, especially in the second half on CT side. Things were a little bit rough there as we were getting towards the end, but they recovered exactly when they needed to. And we're able to shut things down in the 30th round and taking it all the way to the final scoreline, but they do indeed close out here. And that means that they're done for the day. CLG do get to move forward here. For Luminosity, however, they must continue the fight as they're going to be stuck in the lower bracket finals, and they'll have to play at least one more best of three to take that second slot. And it also won't be the upper bracket slot, too, which means that they do make it out, they'll not have to play against Team Liquid in the upper bracket semifinals of the playoff bracket. That'll do it for this matchup, though, guys, so do stick around as the best of threes are coming up next. We're going to be starting off with Rise versus the Misfits right here as the road to Boston continues on at the America's Minor.